Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Come on in. This is Higher Wealth soaring into the now. I'm all fired up today. I'm all excited. I have a wonderful, awesome guest with me tonight. Miss Yvonne Gamble. She is the lady you see running around on LinkedIn finding all of that money for people. Miss Yvonne Gamble, welcome to the show. How are you doing this evening?
Dr. Lee, I am doing wonderful, and I thank you so much for slowing me down and inviting me to be a part of this great show. It is excellent. You always put together those shows that kind of bring us back to center and put us back on track. So I appreciate being here. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. You know, we've been out here for a long time and always enjoying some awesome things that God is doing in our life. You remember our last event we had
Yes.
on that yacht in what was it, Fort Lauderdale, Miami? Oh
And
my goodness.
oh, that was just beautiful. That was beautiful. I mean, and just the setting, the place, the time, all the things we did, all the people we met. Sometimes you wonder, out here in this whole wealth building arena, you almost feel like you're in a silo. But when you brought us all together on that boat, we could laugh, we could talk, we could just kind of commiserate together. That made it so good, and it said, hey, I'm not just out here by myself. I got other people I can talk to. So yeah, we loved it, and we still talk and made some excellent friends and excellent connections that we keep up with today.
Absolutely. We can't wait to get back out there. You know,
No,
we
not
were
at
going to
all.
do it again, and then Corona came. So it's like God said, all right, all of this spinning and running and this, that, sit down. I need
Yeah.
everybody on the earth. Just stop it. Sit down. And that's what
Sometimes,
I imagined, that he
yeah,
just said, sit down. And you know what? I was so impressed with the conversation you had with me the other day. And I said, we really have to talk about this. Um, we discussed the fact that wealth means so much, health and just some of everything, money, but that's more riches. But we, in our conversation, recognized that the thing that was really missing is the spiritual wealth.
yes,
That's
yes, it
why
is.
a lot of us, not we're getting where we want to be at this time, is because we took off running and left the spiritual wealth behind.
Yes.
And God said He's the one that gives us the power to get wealth. And as we talked, I was really reminded of the rich young ruler that was in Matthew 19, right?
Right.
And he runs up to Jesus. Hey, Jesus, I want to be on your team. You know, I'm sure you're saying I can do this and I can do that. You know, I'm rich. I got all the money. I got all this, that, and the other. And I've been a good person all my life. I took care of this, but I did all of that. And it's like Jesus said, okay, awesome, good thing. But let me ask you something else. Are you willing to give up all that wealth that you have? Give it to the poor and follow me.
That's a
Listen, I know
that's
you
a
know
tough.
what he said.
Yes, I do. Yes, ma'am. That's and it's tough because when in the accumulation of wealth, we get so inundated accumulating wealth. It's not an easy task, not an easy thing to do, especially if you set your benchmarks to where a society that you might live in, to how they accumulate wealth. And if you set your to society's definition of wealth, that's going to take you some time, some energy, and you're kind of all in. So when you do, everyone hits that crossroad. Jesus, their God, their religion is going to stop them at a place and is going to ask them that question: would you give all this up, for money? for for your health, for your religion, to actually to follow the right path, to do the right things in life. Would you do that? And it makes people pause very uncomfortably. Just as the man did, in the scripture there.
Mm-hmm.
How he had to pause and he couldn't do it, and a lot of people they can't do it, and they won't do it, and then there are a lot of people who will. But what I really appreciate is the fact that you were willing to say, come on and let's really talk about this, and let's talk it out and talk about how we do it. Because if we accumulate wealth and we understand what wealth is first, that's first and foremost. And I know that's the reason why you wanted to have this master class. If we understand that, then we begin to accumulate wealth differently. And so that way, when we're asked to give it up, it's not as though we're giving up something. We've already given it up and we understand the purpose of it. It's not for us to hoard and to have and to, just keep it in these boxes. It's for us to give it away. And once we give it away, we're rich. You become richer in life, when you do that. I got some other little nuggets to share as we go along. So, I'll let you go ahead on introducing and talking to the audience.
Well, you know what? I'm famous for saying that before you can become rich or wealthy, you have to develop that wealthy mindset.
Yes.
And a piece that fits snugly within that wealthy mindset is the spiritual piece.
Hmm.
We really have to put God first in whatever we're trying to do. We're in some dangerous times now. I mean, really dangerous time. And I think a lot of us that have been so busy running with our lives
Yeah.
have had to stop and sit there. God, where are you? What's happening? The earth is silent. What is going on? And the more you listen to all of this stuff that's happening at once, they said I think it was the locust is over in
Yeah.
Africa coming this way.
Hmm.
Then we have some type of dust storm that's headed this way. Also,
Right.
they hadn't seen it in decades.
Right.
And so then we have the pandemic. Then we have the Black Lives Matter. And my God, they said if the devil had only knew what he was doing when he had Jesus crucified, he never would have done it.
Yeah.
My God.
That's true. He said that.
And
Yeah.
he never, and I say the same thing. If that guy standing on George Floyd's, kneeling on George Floyd's neck, if he had only known what he was creating, a movement, a move of God. I mean, everything has been turned on its axle. I mean, things are just not the same. And guess what? It's not going to be the same. It's no, you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
You know,
He's out.
I will say this to all of that, and I'll kind of start right where you mentioned, with the gentleman, the police officer who put his leg on his knee on George Floyd's neck. And I will also, kind of remind people of the fact that Judas gave Jesus the kiss that pointed him out, and
Hmm.
all the other numerous things that have happened throughout history, the catalyst, the
Mm-hmm.
all these things that happen. It has to be there. There's good and there's evil. You have to remember that we're fighting principalities. So whatever, it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily about us, it's about what we do. It's not just about us the individual, it's about what we do and how mankind progresses forward, and if mankind progresses forward. Now we ask in earnest, and we say, God, give us everlasting life, from everlasting to everlasting. Because if you remember, if you look at, regardless of which religious book or religious veil that you hail from, everything has always been about that the God destroy the people, destroyed what when things were going bad and things got way off kilter. He was wiped out whole nations, and we can see evidence of that as we go back in the archaeological digs, and we can see civilizations that were just totally covered up, totally went out, obliterated, and some of them we can fathom what happened to them, and some of them we can't. So when you think about it, we ask that the God not destroy the world again.
Hmm.
And he said, and he gave that promise to mankind that he would not destroy the world. He didn't say you wouldn't destroy yourself. He just said he wouldn't do it. And
That's
so
right.
therefore, but what happens is that doesn't mean that we were going to be perfect and that man was going to be perfect, from that point forward. What that simply said was that we have to now we have to police ourselves. Like they say, physician heal thyself. We have to heal ourselves, and we have to find those right places. God has his hand in, just as a parent will have their hand in with the child, knowing that child is going down the wrong path, but knowing that you can't stop them. You have to allow them to go down so that they can learn the lessons and then be able to pick themselves back up. And you can intervene, and that's what God does. He intervenes and he'll stop it. He set us down exactly like you said. He did those things. If those things had not happened, you and I would probably be talking about a whole different subject right now. If COVID-19 had not happened, with this live streaming and all this would not have come online as robust as it did. If that hadn't happened with George Floyd and all these other things happening, if this had continued to happen, it's not the first time, but now we have the mediums by which to speak out, and we actually have the backbone to speak out in the fiber and not to be afraid of what happens to us. We'll give it all up. We'll give up our life and our limb if something should happen to us because we spoke out. That's the giving up part. That's the giving. You've
Yes.
accumulated so much. You've accumulated your life. You've accumulated your lifestyle. You've done all the things that you do, but you're willing to now stand and speak out and speak up. And no longer are you going to sit in the background and just say, oh, it'll be okay by and by. You're like, no, I'm going to speak up and speak out against this. Well, that's what he wants you to do. That's your God given right. He gives you the right. He gives mankind the right. Mankind does not have domicile. Oh, man has domicile over the lower creatures. The lower creatures is not another man. The lower creatures would be the animals, the insects, those types of things, the ground, the plants, but not over one another, in the way that, in which we do. And that's what has to be righted in this world. And we have to stand for that. And yes, we will be stopped. We were stopped many times before, and we'll be stopped many times after until we get it right. And sometimes just slow down, sit down, and think.
Exactly. That's why I love you. You can articulate this thing so well, Yvonne. And developing that wealthy mindset, which enables you to put together a wealth system. One thing that you need are mentors. And I can say that you are my financial mentor. I have two spiritual mentors, and that's Bishop Ruth Smith
Yes.
at the Light of the World Church. You know, you've been
Oh,
there.
yes.
And I have Dr. Jazz. She is I forgot to turn this phone. She is my mentor. Love her. And it's important for us to have that if we're building a wealth system. So,
Mm-hmm.
therefore, I want you to tell us, my audience, a little more about you. You're an awesome woman, Yvonne. So go right ahead. Let me
Oh,
turn this off.
okay. Well, thank you. I am a venture capitalist, and what I do is I allocate capital. And in the allocation of capital, some of the capital might be equity. I go out to the marketplace for our clients. We raise anywhere from 3 million to 120 billion dollars for their projects, for the things that they're working on. We primarily, the core sectors we work in would be infrastructure. So if it has something, anything that has to do with the building of a country, the building of a community, of a society, be it through water, telecommunications, communications, health, in electricity, solar, space technology, those sorts of things. That's what we actually involve ourselves in. and those are the projects that we work on. And so many of our projects we work on, we don't work on a lot. A lot of people think that we are like, say, your traditional VCs, your traditional companies where we need to have hordes and hordes of clients. Well, we don't. So we don't ascribe to that because we have to work so very closely with our clientele. And many of the different projects that I get involved on, I may even become a partner on that. I may take up an equity position in there, or take ownership of in that particular project. And the reason that I do that is so that is called immersion. Because I get involved in it. I immerse myself into it. My staff gets immersed into it, and that way we can bring out the best, for that client for what they have. And one of our big clients, if I might mention, one of that we
Yes,
actually,
by all means.
well, thank you, that we actually took on this year. We're actually at the end of last year, coming into this year, and that is the College of Bishops of the CNME
Mm,
Church. And they, as you or the audience may know, they build different types of communities, and they build those all over the world. And this particular, we're working with the 11th district out of Houston, and they are building a in eight different countries. And so what they're doing is they are building schools, the K through 12, and then
hmm
they'll have the life centers, and then they'll also have vocational school, for afterwards, and for vocational and technical training, and then they have the college universities. And then, as well as, now when I come into the project, this is what they have, and that's what they traditionally build. And the reason I kind of quote say traditionally build, what I would bring to that project is not just simply go out find the money for them, because I could do that if I were just a standard venture capitalist. I'd go out, find the money, and give it to them, they then go on my way. But I don't do that. When I look at a project of that nature, I look at it and say, okay, this has to be self-sustaining, meaning the land is generally given to them by a government, and those different nations will give them so much land, so they have that, but they have to be able to be sustained themselves. So what happens when the money that I've raised for them, that money runs out? Well, they need more money, and then they generally go back out and get some more money. It's like, no, that's not the way you do it. What you do is you build into that the different types of processes, manufacturing plants producing something. One of the places they have in Rwanda, actually where the land is, part of the land already has on it tea, green. It's just groves and groves and groves of fields and fields and fields of green tea that's on this land. And I said, okay, there's your manufacturing right there. Everybody drinks green tea, and it's very
Yeah.
good for you. So so therefore that becomes that something that now they will cultivate that. So they will build manufacturing plant to cultivate that. They'll have to have sales and distribution. And guess what they can teach the local people who are there? What they can teach the children who come out for vocational, or even the kids who go out to regular, go to college, and they'll learn even more ways and better ways to manufacture and to make all the different things that has to make. But that's what we bring to the project. So that's why when I say we get immersed in the project, we don't just simply give you some money and be on our way. We look at what more can you do? How can you, when we leave you, you're going to be fine for if we never come back. And if nobody ever comes back and brings you anything, you can make your own money, because we are truly purveyors of the, if you teach a person how to fish, they will eat the rest of their life. We don't believe in just simply give them a fish. So we do not just simply give money. We allocate capital for what it needs to be allocated for, and then we teach people how to become self-sustaining. So we teach governments, we teach communities, and we teach just the general population how to take care of themselves and to take care of generations to come.
Perfect, perfect. Now you are an author, and the title of your book is
Is financing
title
your
of your
next
book.
billion. The title of my book
I
is
love it.
Financing Your Next Billion. Yes. And
Okay, I
I
love it.
came up,
I love it.
and I had to come up with that It had to go to the billions because the just the general people that I deal with when I'm going out to the investor and investment community, they're already multimillionaires. They're already billionaires. And so therefore when people are coming in, and if they're asking from 3 million to 120 billion, they're already looking, they have to be, everything they do has to be looking to how many more billions they can actually make, because they got to make money to pay back the investor, and then they have to make money obviously for themselves for their project as well. So that's why it's financing your next billion. And it is truly a, it is not a guide. I was just telling someone yesterday, he thought that it was going to be a book about all how I made my first billion and what I did. That's, it's not about me. I said no. I said no. I said it's not about me. I said I'm probably the most private person you'll ever know. I said as far as you're concerned, I live in a saltwater flat on the bank of a river someplace, and that's all you need to know about me. No, that is about you. That's about the people, the business owner who's out there, the entrepreneur wannabe, the person, the politician, who wants to make a difference, in their community, the mother, who is single and she wants to, do better for her children, the father, who may be looking and saying, he has a dream and he wants to do something with that dream. That's who that book is written for, because it tells you step by step and blow by blow exactly what you need to do and how you need to show up in order to get it done.
Well, that's awesome. And for those that enroll in our master class, it's free. And I say enroll because I know we will see you every Thursday to get some more nuggets. We're really going to build this wealth system within this 6 week period. We're going to talk about, again, developing that wealthy mindset. What is the criteria? What are some of the tools that you need in your toolbox to accomplish that? So we're going to do that. And um, I thought about wealth, and one thing that I've been working on, as I told you, was helping people to get this PPP loan and the EIDL loan. Yvonne, that has been one of the hardest things to do, to get people to come and get this money. I have a banker friend, and thank God I do, because she was able. I mean, she does the hands-on thing. She was on
Mm-hmm.
last week, in fact. She does the hands-on with the people that I bring to her. This is someone that really needs help. What can you do to help them? And she just coaches them all the way through to the SBA and beyond. I couldn't get them to really
Well, but
understand.
here's, don't you you can't,
No.
you can't get too upset. You basically, what you're doing is, it's always about your audience and audience participation. If you've got basically the audience that you're participating out to are the general entrepreneur, the general business owners, that are out there. And most of these
Mhm.
business owners, they basically, they're what they've had with banks or with finance companies or what have you, is they come, they bring all their information, and they generally don't qualify. And especially now that they've gone through 2 to 3 months, and maybe going into 4 months depending on it, and many of them were already behind the eight ball even before the COVID-19 hit. So
Exactly.
a lot of them, they were already operating in the red. So with all of that, there, the apathy, that's what you have. You have the apathy that
Oh.
I'm not going to get it anyway, so why should I even go? And that's why in this master class that we're looking at, that we're launching as of you launched it probably last week, and today
Yeah, with her, she was
with
there to
her,
help them.
it
Yeah,
launched out there. Something like this actually shows them the necessary tools, and also we'll be talking on further, and that's why the book is so important, the financing your next billion, because what it does is it shows you what you have to have. I've got in there in chapter 4 a 29-point checklist on due diligence. That due diligence is not only for someone going after venture capital. The due diligence checkpoints that are in there are if you're just going in for a $10,000 loan from the
Hmm.
SBA or from a bank. That
Right.
same those same that same hard line due diligence that they're going to go through. Every business needs to have those things already in order, and
And
many
see,
most businesses do not.
I
They do
know.
not have that information. They want to get a loan. They don't have the paperwork in order. They're just their franchise taxes are not paid. I mean, we're not talking about things that are hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're talking about things that might be $100 or $25, and they just let that go. The business license is not up to date. So many things are, they're operating on the fringes, and a lot of people don't realize that, and that's where like what you're saying here, they have to start with that the top end and of that spirituality. You got to get your house in order. You got to get your
It
spirit right.
it
You've got to get
was
those things
so
in order
many.
first, because they a lot of people are, there's still these business card businesses. And by that, I
Mhm.
mean the business card business. All they got is a business card. Okay, they got a business card with their name on it. They went out. They got a website done. They got a telephone number, and really, but if you start trying to peel back the onion, there's nothing there. There's
Hmm.
really nothing there, and they kind of hoping that social media, and I push out a couple of advertisements, and I do a couple of Instagram posts or what have you, and fine, I'm in business.
Well,
And the
see, you have to be when opportunity knocks, you have to be
hmm
prepared.
You have to be
And
prepared.
no one knew this was going to happen, but it did. Opportunity was knocking at our door, and it required us to have certain things
Hmm.
in order to take advantage of the opportunity. And
Right.
one of the saddest things, she was telling me that tomorrow is the last day, and I had so many people that came up to answer the door, tried to let opportunity in, and then they had to throw up their hands and just give up. I just don't have it. I can't. I don't have what I need, and they had
Right.
to keep working.
Well, one of the things that I can tell you that's really going to help this effort, one of the projects that I am working on, with one of my clients, a new client. This is another new client that came out of the COVID-19, and the young man, has this excellent idea. And my board and I, we just made a decision actually 2 days ago to actually partner with him. And what it does is he's not only is he taking some of the money. SoftBank, they said they'd give 100 million to black
Mhm.
businesses, depending on what they wanted to do. And what he wants to do is to have a training,
Excuse me.
school, to put together, on the Zoom classes, of course, being
Uh-huh.
amenable to the COVID-19 or what have you, the distance learning. But he has a whole curriculum, and this is something that myself was near and dear to me that I was working on, was a curriculum. So that's why it was perfect. I said this is perfect, instead of us doing. And this is what we have to do, where you work together. So instead of me going out
Hmm.
and creating a bank of classes and what have you, which I could do, and I see he needs to do this well as he needs the other help as far as the business, and then obviously needs the money, for this. Then I say, okay, fine, let's join forces together. He was so happy and so elated, because why? It's going to take a big off stress off of his shoulders, that he doesn't know how to do the things that we do know how to do.
Uh-uh.
So now it's available to him and my staff, so that he can now take and get these things, up and off the ground, with something like that. But that is, and he's looking to take the monies that he gets, some of the monies that he gets, and actually, do like what I was going to do, give out grants and give out, some venture capital to people, so that they can actually turn that money, into 5x or 10x, so that the investors are paid back. And that's how you make money and you keep the money going. But what has to happen is, before they can get anything, they're going to have to take up the classes. they're gonna have to learn how to do business. That's
There
just
you go.
that's
There
just
you
it, and
go.
that's just, that's me. If you don't know how to do what you need to do as far as for your business or to have a business, then I'm not giving you a dime. I don't care what you have. I don't, because of the simple fact that what's going to happen. I give it to you, and before you get to the end of the block, it's gone.
Exactly. They don't even know where it went to.
You don't know where it
So,
went, and I don't know where
mm-mm,
it went.
it's gone.
It's
It's
gone.
gone.
Hmm.
So, how can they reach you?
They can actually go out to our website at www.sandpetefinancialgroup.com, and just there they can go to the contact and then put their information in and let me know, what it is that they need to do or they need information on, and then we will, one of our representatives can contact them back to speak with them, for our different services we do, not only in everything on there. The website is designed to tell you everything you need to know will be right there in front of you. If you're looking for commercial loans, if you're looking for venture capital, equity, debt, whatever you're looking for, it's right there. Or you have projects that you want to do. We do business in Africa. All that information is on there. We have weekly classes, that are some classes that are free. Some classes we have a certification class for doing business in Africa. We paired with the African Union, to put that certification together. So we have that. And then, of course, they can go out to Amazon.com and just put in, my name, Yvonne Gamble, and they'll see the list of books that I have there. And I encourage everyone that is looking to finance something or to just be a better steward of the money that you have in your hands, get the book Financing Your Next Billion. And I would say that you definitely need to attend the master classes that are here that Dr. Lee is providing
Mm-hmm.
and making available to us, and all the people that she's bringing forward before you. And, take that information, make that a part of your everyday. If you're not learning something every single day, putting something in your journal, and one of the things that we'll probably have available for you actually to purchase, and that will be a journal. So it'll be a beautiful journal. It'll say nice dark blue with the nice gold. I love those colors. Those are my high
Higher
school
wealth,
colors. You
soaring
know,
beyond and now.
exactly. So that'll be Women of Wealth. And so, that journal, but you need to be putting something in there every day. What did I learn to do today that I didn't know yesterday? That should be an entry in your journal every single day. What did I learn today that I did not know how to do yesterday? It doesn't matter what it is. Today, I learned how to become a host on Be Live. I didn't know that yesterday. I didn't even know there was a Be Live. When you said, I said be live. I said maybe she got it wrong. I hadn't even heard of Be Live. I love it. It's beautiful. I said this was so easy, and so
I
I
have
learned something new
learned
today.
so much. I have learned so much just sitting still. It's just amazing. It seems like I've been more busier sitting still. I don't even understand it myself than I was with all of my running from state to state, state to state. I love to travel.
Hmm.
And, but I've learned so much. It was, you have to take time to get to know you, which
Yeah.
is a part of building that wealthy mindset. You
Hmm.
got to know who you are
Right. Exactly.
first.
Yeah. That's right.
And it's actually been fun.
Yeah.
I've been enjoying myself. And now I can sense that it's time to really get up and put into play some of the stuff that you've learned while you have just been sitting
Hmm.
now. And so don't want to forget to remind anyone that's listening that tomorrow, if you're interested in getting that PPP loan, make sure you reach out to me. You can do it on Facebook, any of these, Women of Wealth magazine, on the Instagram, Twitter, whatever. Make sure you reach out to me so I can connect you to the banker, the one, I just can't believe it. She actually holds your hand and take you through the whole process and gets you right through to the SBA. It's just a wonderful thing to be able to help people. And her thing is, I want to help my community. And
Mhm.
that's what she does. So email, Women of Wealth Magazine at Gmail. You can email me there, info at womenofwealthmagazine.com. However you get me. If you're interested, before tomorrow, you will have missed this opportunity. And I know so many of you are just afraid to even give it a try. Like Yvonne, like you said, oh, I'm not going to waste my time. I know I'm not going to get anything. And so, I'm not going to be bothered with that. You don't know. But I do have a lot of clients, if they missed it this time, they will be ready for the next go round. And there will be a next go round.
Oh
Trust me
yeah.
when I tell you.
Mhm.
They've
Oh
got to
yeah.
get this economy back up off the ground. So there will be a next go round. So I
Mhm.
encourage people to get your business paperwork in order and, do what you need to do. If you don't know what to do, that's what we're here for,
Right.
to
There you
help
go.
you, to tell you, hold your hand, coach you through this thing of setting your business up right so that you can thrive and go beyond the now, soar beyond
And
the
now I
now.
love that.
So I love it. I love it. It's more than thriving. We don't want to just thrive. We want to soar beyond the now. So you have until tomorrow. After that, the opportunity will close the door and it won't open this phase of it. I don't know what it might do later on, but this particular part of it will be closed.
Yes. Mhm.
So I enjoyed you this
I thank you
evening. This
so
was
much.
a
I look
nice
forward to it.
session, a real nice time. So hopefully they will come back to you, Yvonne, so that you can we can get a copy of your book to them and remind them to tune in next week to Soaring Beyond the Now as you create your higher wealth systems.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You are a great financial mentor. I want you to know that.
Well, thank you
Financial
so much.
coach,
I
mentor,
appreciate
all of that. You are great.
Well, thank you, and you are such an inspiration. You keep me going when I think I'm going and moving and probably running in the other direction. You keep me going. Come back this way. Uh,
We just wait until God allows us to get up, and He will. He will.
you will.
We will win. We will win.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Producer, we have finished.